You're welcome along to the Maroon and White pod. So it's a bumper show this evening where I'm joined by Seán and Seán O'Donnell to look ahead to Anca Rua's All-Ireland Junior Final against Naomh Pádraig of Donegal at 3:15 in Croke Park this Saturday. And of course Galway and Armagh as well, under lights in Pearse Stadium on Saturday evening, a home game for Galway to start off the Alliance League. But we will look ahead to Anca Rua's All-Ireland Junior Final coming up this weekend. Seán O'Donnell, coming to you first. What's the atmosphere like in Carrow leading up on a week like this?
Oh, it's been brilliant. I have to admit now. I suppose, since you might as well say since we won the semi-final there against Ballinnagar, it's a different village altogether. The place is just red and black. There isn't a ESB pole or an aircon pole that doesn't have a flag and buntings and all the local businesses and the community. And it's a great thing because, as you know, and I mentioned here on your show before, we were in a bad place 2 years ago and getting double relegation. And I suppose we hit rock bottom. And to who'd have thought, like the goal at the start of the year always was just to get back to intermediate, and there was no talks of All Irelands, and we always said about the kind of bonus territory. But it's just unbelievable. Like you're seeing 3, 4 year old kids in the creches wearing Carrow jerseys, and Sinead would know this. The time actually we were blessed to get to win a county final. It's just for small parishes in the Gaeltacht, it's a huge thing. Like I mean, the powerhouses of the football in Galway and other counties are big towns and big cities and stuff like that. When you've got a small Gaeltacht, small corner of Galway here, and it's just brilliant. It's just gone football mad here. Everybody knows everybody. The kids are drawing pictures. Interviews gone mental. Mother of God, there's just interviews after interviews, and old players like myself and young players like that, and it gives belief again, and it gives us hope for the next generation of footballers that are coming through to this very proud club and our neighbouring clubs. Because I know what we're mentioning on Carrow here, but I can also mention our neighbouring clubs here in the Gaeltacht, and they're fully on board this. Yes, there's rivalry and all that stuff, which is very important, but everybody's on board, and it's a great atmosphere and feeling, and we're just so proud of them what they've achieved, and I just hope that they really just take the hold this celebration in and enjoy it, because it's very rare. Only so many lucky players are able to play for their county and to play in Croke Park, and for a club person to do it, and it's just very rare, and especially where we are. So it's a huge achievement, and we're just so proud of them.
Seán Og, Seán mentions there the difficult times you've went through, and it's been quite highlighted across national media and local media that you went from senior to junior in the space of 2 years. But in an All Ireland final, this does get the buzz back in Ongarua football.
Yeah, well, I suppose for me, I'd have a kind of a different angle on everything because, unlike Sean, I haven't lived in the parish for, we'll say, over 20 years. I'm over here in Oranmore, I suppose, heavily involved in the GA here. So I kind of have a slightly different perspective, in the sense that we'll, we'll say before the junior championship started in Galway in 2024, there would have been a view, and people that I know that know football that wouldn't be from, we'd say, Carrow or even the Gaeltacht. Some of them would have said that, um, Carrow would have been an outside bet to get to Saturday's final, the All Ireland Junior Final. So, to a certain extent, Carrow were earmarked because it was a fairly, I suppose, rapid fall from senior to intermediate to junior, in the space of 2 years after spending 35 years at senior level. But the underage success in Carrow, we'll say, with the under 19 team last year, and that's kind of fed on a few young players onto the team. Now, I saw the team last year getting relegated at intermediate because my brother Killian had been playing last year, and they would probably say that not so much that they deserve to go down, but it wasn't a surprise, right? But the 4 or 5, and I might have the numbers wrong, like, but the young lads have brought a huge energy to the thing, and I'm talking about the likes of Sean's son, Matthew there, Finan O'Connell, these guys. They've energized the whole setup, and I would say that as well, that the primary aim for 2024 was to get promoted back up to intermediate, which they did when they played Salthill in Spiddle before Christmas. But this is, and I suppose if you were in charge of the team, you wouldn't be saying this, but it is to a certain extent bonus territory. I think Seán might have mentioned that, but certainly it's a huge honour, and it's a huge opportunity to go where I think only 2 Galway teams have gone in the last, since the junior competition started. That was, I think it was Clonbur and Ballinasloe. So, yeah. It's an opportunity to do something that you won't forget for the rest of your life.
Does it concern you at all from what you've seen at the weekend when you look at Sarsfields and Ergil Kieran in the first half? Because when you take those 2 instances, it sort of looked like the occasion got to both of those clubs with the emotion that's involved with playing in Croke Park with your club.
I would agree 100% with you. Now the beauty, I suppose, of this Saturday is that the team that Paor are playing, St. Patrick's of Muff and Donegal, I would think that their experience of, they have Caelan McGonigal, who's a very good player, and he more than likely has experience of playing in Croke Park. But both teams are as inexperienced as each other, we'd say, when it comes to Croke Park. But certainly you are right. It was very obvious, especially, I think, in both finals, the senior finals, Na Fianna and Cuala, both Dublin teams. Na Fianna were just a 5-minute walk from Croke Park, but it certainly looked as if, because of the fact that they had settled very quickly into the game, that has made a big difference at the very end. And I think that's the biggest challenge for both teams on Saturday. Whoever settles quickest and gets their bearings quickest in Croke Park, that they will be the team that will be ahead when the scoreboard tots up at the end.
I kind of suppose a bit differently that to Seán. I kind of look at Cuala and you look at Kirrallis. It's kind of a way I looked at Cuala. It's like, don't forget, they were new to that scene themselves. They were only senior B only 3 years ago themselves, but now most of the players would have been used to Croke Park, but so are the Canavans. It again they went out with a game plan, and they knew the threats of the Tyrone boys, and they annulled it totally. We saw Peter Hart in the second half showing an exhibition of football, but he didn't get a sniff in the first half. They were only at 1 point scored after 20 minutes with the Canavans. Now they're unlucky because of the head injuries, but I think the game was over at half time, and where Cuala knew they were so far ahead at that stage. And the goal, to me, either was one of the best goals ever to Croke Park, or he was going for a point. But regarding the Carrow and Naomh Pádraig, and Seán said it there, they're 2 inexperienced teams in the scenario where they are. It's junior level. We must understand that, where when you're at senior level, they're playing at those clubs would have beaten Division 3 and Division 4 county teams, and there's no word about it. They're so fit, they're so conditioned, the players they have. Half of them are playing county and all that. You took it Fitzsimons and these guys. So where we are, it's kind of more, I always look at the junior. Whoever does the least mistakes will win. Because we looked at the Cheathrú Rua game, especially against Ballinagare, was the amount of turnovers and giving away passes and the wrong decisions. Now, both teams were up to now, we're nearly out every second week. And then all of a sudden you have a 4-week Christmas break and bad weather and snow. So you can see there was a lot of rustiness there. So all of a sudden now they're into a scenario where they haven't done much over the last 2 weeks. It's just ticking over. This celebration of being in a final is there. And to me, that's the hardest bit, because they're inundated with good wishes, they're inundated with gear, they're inundated with everything like that. And it's hard to get your focus on the game. Doesn't make a difference what level are. And maybe that's what Kevin, the O'Reillys, what they call it, themselves. But I always look at this game as, and I wish for the lads, it's just the opportunity and the honour of running out in Croke Park with your club crest on your chest. Because till the day they pass away or whatever happens, they'll have that always as an honour to do that. Like in Shawnee and myself are lucky, but we were never able to do that with our club. And the old saying is, you start with your club and you finish with your club, and that's the key. And it's a very, very special moment they're going to have, and we'll be with them. And we're lucky enough. We have good young players, as Shawnee said. Not that many. There's only 3 or 4. People keep talking about in Cheathrú Rua and this huge influx. There's only 3 of them from that under 19. 4 actually that under 19 are there. There was more, but like everything else. So it's a very little different team to there. We've lost a player which was a huge part who will be sadly missed, actually, Darragh O'Shea. He'd be right half back, Shawnee there. He's a huge loss because his fitness, his footballness would be very beneficial for us in Cheathrú Rua. But there's good guys to come in there too. Like we've a very strong bench and players coming on. But it's a game which, like we look at like Naomh Pádraig and the players, and Seán mentioned Quillen there. He plays half back for Donegal. He's playing corner forward. A bit like yourself, Shawnee, long ago. You like to go forward when they're playing for the club. But again, he was nulled enough in the game to take out the penalty. But they have a great player like Jonathan Toy, centre at back. Then you're talking about Kevin Lynch, big lad, full forward, like, I mean, deadly from dead balls and stuff like that. So they have a strong team. And our old mate, Shawnee Doylers, you know, his wife, that's where he's from, you know, like that. So huge connection. His own son was on the Donegal team there, like, you know, so it's great to have that connection. Please God, we'll see him up there on Saturday. But they're a good team. And the old saying, no bad team ever makes to Croke Park. And you look at the results there, and there was a bit of a hiding to a certainty, but that can happen at senior level. That can happen in All Ireland. We've seen it ourselves. So it's really, and Seán Oak said it there, is you really got to start from the throw up. You got to really go. And it's going to be strange watching Croke Park because it's going to be lined for the new rules, which will be kind of strange. It'll be like playing over in Gaelic Park. You have all these new lines, but we're still playing old rules. You know, so so that's going to be
last time both of the clubs will play under the old
rules.
Well.
Yeah, so well, it's a great thing to do, but you'll see the odd one looking at the 2-pointer, and they'll probably take a step back, and it won't make a difference to them. But it's a great honour, and this is the thing about it. It's such a huge thing. But you got 2 very good teams here that, when they get the opportunity, can play football. Like, and Cheathrú Rua has played some great football, especially after we got out of Galway. I know we found our mojo. The chains were taken off us, and they really just spread the wings and played some great attacking football, like against Colquhoun, Ballymote. And now Ballinagare was probably one of our worst games, because then they were just I think the old Christmas turkey in Port there kind of was still there, but they did well. It's always a good sign to win a game playing bad, and to me they'll all say that, and they did well, and that's the most important thing.
Seán Oak, what's impressed you most about Cheathrú this year?
I was just thinking of that, Paul, and I think we'd say any time any serious questions have been asked of this team, they've answered them. I'm thinking of the county final against Killearn. They were behind going into injury time, and Stephen O'Brien played the captain's part and got a point to bring it into extra time. And from extra time on, I think their fitness counted. Then I think the next big challenge was, we'll say, the Connacht final down in Tuam against Ballymote. And, you know, a big occasion, obviously maybe not as big as, we'll say, this Saturday, but still I thought their performance was exceptional that day. They got some superb scores, you know, a lot of pace. You know, they mixed it up fairly well, kick passing, hand passing, you know, and it was the younger players, you know, the Fergal O'Shea's and these guys and Matthew, they were the guys that were driving it on. And then I suppose, as Seán alluded to there, the semi-final against Ballinagare, you know, didn't play. I don't necessarily, I didn't think they played that badly, but they were still 2 points down, a point down going into injury time. And James Flarta with the 45, and then Paddy McCormack with the point to win it in injury time. So, like, any big questions that have been asked of them, they've answered them. So, you know, that would, you know, if you're on that panel, you know, there's great confidence to be taken from that you know that, you know, when the chips are down, that, you know, we've given the answers up to now. So, you know, like he'll need that on Saturday as well. You know, because no matter what All Ireland you play in, whether it's junior, intermediate, senior, or intercounty, they're very hard won. They're not handed out. So, you know, but I think that's in their in their favour, definitely.
Seán, you talk about some of the younger players, the Fergal O'Shea's, Dana McCormick's, those players stepping up, but even a player like Paulie McCormick, to be able to spring him from the bench, he's played Galway minor and Galway under 21. It's a huge thing to have at junior level.
That's for me, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And as well as playing for the Galway minors, now I don't think they won the Connacht final when Paddy McCormick was playing for Galway, but he was actually, I think, man of the match in the Connacht minor final. So a very serious talent. He'll probably say himself maybe that, you know, I won't say he's gone off the radar, but you know, it's only this year I think that he's really, you know, put the head down and had a right go at it again. You've also had Finn O'Connell. He scored, I think it was in the Connacht minor final there about 2 years ago. He scored a fantastic goal, came on as a sub. Matthew, as what I hear, will be in with the Galway under 20s this year. You know, so like, I suppose back to your club when you play with the county, you bring a lot of confidence in your own play, and also I suppose the guys around you as well, you know, feed off your confidence as well. We'd say Fergal O'Shea, he played for the under 20s 2 years ago. His role was as a kind of a hard working wing forward. We didn't see him much with Galway in terms of being an attacking threat, but you can certainly see that when he plays with Caro, we'd say in the last year. So look at, you know, you're right. For a junior team, there is a fair sprinkling of intercounty talent, and I think the cornerback Jennings.
Jennings, yeah.
He played for Alan Glynn's minor team, and he played in Beacon. So like that's, you know, there's a fair sprinkling there. You know, and I suppose wearing the superiority complex on my shoulders, but when you're an intercounty player for Galway, you know, you must be good, like, you know, and I wouldn't say that about every county.
Good point there. And Seán, for yourself, you've obviously been doing co-com throughout Caharo's campaign, but how's it going to be for you now, like seeing the sunline out in Croke Park? Do you get nervous for him before a game, or how do you view it?
I know, like I have two of them as keen as well. Like, no, I don't, because I suppose I wouldn't be one of those parents. I never, again, forced anything because it was never done on myself. It was always, it's all about joining the sport. The whole thing is he's a sporty guy himself. Matthew, he plays, but actually, he's got a basketball semi-final up on the Monday afterwards up in Dublin. So it just shows that they got there. But to me, it's great that I suppose I look at the star that I was honoured and blessed for that feeling to do it. And it's great because Seán will tell you, anyone that's done it, it's different for everybody, and it's a different feeling. It's an honour and all that, and it's great that they both now, and all the lads will get that honour of knowing that feeling, and it's a huge thing. But Matthew's only 18, like, so he's young enough, and Keane's like 20. But the thing about it is just a huge honour, and that's why they've no fears. To them it's like it's like a day up watching Galway. It's a thing like that. It's a club, so it's a great feeling. When you're young like that, there's very less fears on them in that scenario. But listen, I'm proud of them if they're playing in an old junior F match when they were under 10s or something like that in the muck on the strip in Carrow. So that's the way any parent would be, or anyone that's related to me or the friends. So I'm proud of them being in Croke Park, and I'm proud of them wherever they do. And that's not just being hearsay, that's in everyone. But to me, it's just an honour because I've trained a good few of those lads under 10s, under 12s and all that stuff. And it's just brilliant seeing them reach their potential. And it's a dream every player has when you're given your first pair of football boots, or you're in the front lawn, or you're playing on the street, to grace Croke Park at whatever level. So they're getting it, and I just hope they embrace it and enjoy it. But it's an honor for me to see not only my own offspring, my own sons, but to see also the club, and it's a great thing. And it was great to be doing commentary through all the games and seeing them there. And again, trust me, we had 2 years there. We couldn't win. We couldn't buy a football match. Like, I mean, I was back on Park O'Honey, and you could count on your two hands the amount of supporters. There was more animals, dogs there than supporters. And it just happens because people stop watching games where they're not going to win. They couldn't win anything. And it's great now seeing this buzz, and it's a human thing regarding there where everybody wants to be involved. Everybody wants to get tickets, and their end-of-year social is the week after. I hear it's nearly sold out and nearly 300 something. And that's what it's about. Like, you know, it doesn't make a difference. The GA, you have the good days, but you'll also have the bad days. So when you get the good days, you hold on to it and you enjoy it, because it can slip away very quickly. And we're in Cheathrú here at the moment, the parish, we're holding on to it and we're enjoying every bit of it. And that's the most important thing.
Will you give them any advice this weekend?
Listen, I suppose my advice to them is, and again, I'm not one of those people who will force, because listen, tell me an 18 and 20-year-old that listen to their father or mother, Jesus Christ, I usually get grunts like that. They only want me when they want money. But it's the thing about it is I just keep enjoy it. And that's what I'm saying, enjoy it. When you're out there, Seán would know this, when we got to the 98 final, God rest his soul, Jono brought us up to the semi-final and final, and the atmosphere, and I know that was done, but it's a different atmosphere, because our reason for going is to get the 80,000 crowd and all that stuff, because it's a different animal, it's a different pitch, Croke Park, with this big crowd. Listen, you'll hear a pin drop in Croke Park. That's how it is. As I said, there'll be more seagulls up there than supporters for our game. And that's the way it is. And it's going to be a different pitch. But I just keep telling them, go out there and just leave everything on the pitch. You mean like that? When you walk off, whatever the score, whatever it is, at least you can say to yourself, I gave it all. And that's all your teammates, your supporters, your family, and yourself can ask. Just give it all. And if you say that and you walk off, you can't ask anymore. And that's it. And that's to not even to everybody, anyone like that, like, you know.
For you, Seán, what would it mean to see Cheathrú get up the steps of the Hogan stand this weekend?
Look, I'd be absolutely delighted for them. You know, you go through the team, and I would have played, as would Seán have, with a lot of their, you know, fathers. So, you know, I know, obviously, because I'm from Carrow, I know, you know, when I was growing up in Carrow, would say I would have always felt that the mood in the parish was always dictated by how well or how not so well the football team was going, and it's still the same. So I know that, you know, that there are, whether they win or lose, but that they're, you know, that they will be welcome back, I suppose, into the warm embrace of the parish. And as Seán said, like that, you know, that they're very, very proud of them, no matter what way it goes. But you know, it would be, you know, it would be superb if they won. And it's funny, like the you know, people would have watched the semi-final against Ballingar on television, and I would have got texts from, you know, from people from different parts of the country, even though, like, as I said, like, I haven't lived in Carrow 20 years. The you know, it's wishing you well. Like, I mean, there is a lot of goodwill towards the team. You know, I got one. I suppose he wouldn't mind me saying it, whether he you know, but Cillian O'Connor, the Mayo player, and like his, you know, without kind of like his dad, I think would have worked out at Carrow many years ago. His father Tony, and Cillian himself, you know, would have spent a summer in an Irish college there. So, you know, there's a lot of goodwill. So look, it'll be great, but we won't get too nostalgic here now, right? They have to go out and win the bloody thing, do you know? So
Geez,
that's
Sonny,
that's the most
I thought
important
you'd have
thing.
all Mayo players blocked by now. Jesus, you know that kind of way. Jesus, Jesus, they go straight to
No,
spam
no,
for the
I'll make exceptions for a few. I'll make exceptions
Jesus.
for a few.
And Sean, what would it mean? Like, obviously, the scenes are going to be something else if you do it, but just to see your club winning All Ireland in Croke Park, like you can't get better no matter what grade it's at.
Exactly, because you got to understand what level you're at and stuff like that. Like, I mean, Jesus, you look at the even next week the intermediate final. Those teams would beat many a senior team like that. There's a certain thing, and you just look at the level. It's an All Ireland medal, and you have to. You don't. They don't come easy. As Sean always said, you have to work hard for them, and you have to sweat. You have to pour blood. There's injuries, as we mentioned, like Darragh O'Shea would have been a starter, and all of a sudden, because of a cruciate, he's not able to be there. But he's such a huge part of this team, and guys have immigrated. I know of 4 or 5. They're coming home from Australia. And that's what it does to a small parish. People are coming home from all around the world, from Boston, Chicago, from Australia, from England, are all coming to Dublin. And I was saying there earlier, like, we've actually booked out the whole Crow Park Hotel. So it's a pop-up Gaeltacht now at the moment, like, you know. And that's what it's about. But for me being a Carrow person, who has spilled blood for the club and is an honour and spent so often, having 2 sons on the team and relations on the team and friends on the team, and as Sean Oak said, played and went in the trenches with a lot of their fathers. It's just going to be an honour. But to me, the honour of just seeing them run out on Crow Park, that is the huge thing. About winning it, we won't know the results until whatever is going to be 4:30. And that's in whoever performs on the day, and a bit of luck, they will be worthy winners. But to just jog out on the pitch, to be there for the national anthem, to be there for the throw-in, they've done it all. And that's the thing. And the All-Ireland medal, that is just the absolute cherry on the cake for these lads. And it'll be brilliant to be saying like 30 more All-Ireland medals on the village. Like, you know, it's huge, and it's something they'll have for the rest of their life. But we have to say only one team can win, and there's nothing between these 2 teams. I know that personally, like, you know. And I mean, I think the poor parish priest, his 2 knees are well worn from praying, and there's flags and all that stuff. But we just hope that, to me, always is that both teams perform to their abilities, and the best team will win. And whoever wins, if Naomh Pádraig win, we'll clap them. We'll celebrate with them too. Like, that's what's Connemara people. Win, lose, or draw, we'll celebrate anyway. But it's a huge honour. And listen, there'll be tears. There will be tears. I know that, like, you know, and that's the most important thing. And Seán is saying that he's put in a transfer to come back to Carrow as well. If they go up, he wants to play intermediate, he said. So he might come back to Carrow again, like, you know.
I don't think that. No, I don't think that. Yeah, but
He's might get you in corner forward yet. You never know.
yeah.
That's
Look,
right.
it'd be
When I
brilliant
stay in
if they
full
won.
forward, if you go corner forward.
I can hardly walk.
It is.
There'll be a good party anyways, lads, if you get over the line.
There is.
Cheers,
The
that's it.
homecoming's booked in for 10 o'clock, and the main thing. And I'm hearing the pubs have got extensions, and that's what it's about. Like, you know, celebrations, the whole idea. That's it. Like, you know, and as we say, win, lose, or draw, we will celebrate these great players that we have coming home, and they've done us proud. They've done us so proud. And as Seán explained, the people are texting and all that stuff. So there will be a celebration, and it won't be a one-day celebration either. You know what I mean? It'll drag on. It will drag on for, I say now, maybe by Paddy's Day, we might have, you know what I mean? We might have calmed down by then, I'd say.
Just on that, the very best of luck to the Oncarrow players and management, and to all the supporters to enjoy the occasion going up to Crow Park on Saturday. Just last night, the Sigerson Cup, University of Galway were knocked out of the Sigerson Cup in round 3. UL defeated them 3-8 to 14 points. The scores for University of Galway: Ryan O'Donoghue got 2 points, Killian O'Kerr on 3 points, Matthew Thompson and Liam O'Keneally with 2 each, and Keane Hernan, Darrell Lowry, James McLaughlin and with 1 each, and Owen Colleran from Port Pierces from Roscommon there with 2 points. But that brings an end to the University of Galway's campaign. They'll be disappointed. They were in the lead in the second half, but a strong quarter from UL saw them get over the line. So that's ATU Galway and University of Galway now both knocked out of the Sigerson Cup. Quite a large Galway involvement last night for that University of Galway team. The big concern would be Cian Hearn came off injured after 37 minutes, tweaked the hammer, so he could be in a race against time to play this weekend. And that does bring us on to Galway and Armagh coming up this weekend under the new rules, of course. Seán, we're sort of already thinking back to the All Ireland and getting a bit of pain this week when we hear Galway Armagh.
Yeah, look, we have been in that position before, losing an All Ireland final, and it is a horrible place to be. You don't really get over it, to be honest. But anyways, at least what I would think about, we'll say, this Galway squad after, we'll say, last July losing against Armagh very unluckily. I mean, if Dylan McHugh's shot had crept in, they might have added to it in normal time, but they didn't. So, Armagh, to be fair, they got the goal, they deserved to win. But I would think that, I suppose, the big challenge for Galway this year, I think the number one, well, there's a couple of challenges, right? The first one is everybody has to be fit, right?
Yeah.
We were, I think, decimated would be the word last year. For a lot of the season, I think it started to come together a bit the day we played Dublin, but up to then, you had a whole raft of injuries, and even then, the day of the final, poor Robert Finnerty, after whatever 10, 12 minutes, he had to come off. Huge loss. So that's number one. Number two, then, I think, these new rules, I think they are brilliant for the GA. The present version of them, I've no doubt that they will be tweaked, by Jim Gavin and his FRC after a few rounds. But I suppose, how will we, Galway, adapt to the new rules? And it's actually, I do find it amusing, but every team seems to think that the new rules will suit them, right? So, and we're no different, Galway, because you're looking at the three up top, and I mean, we have lots of options there. You're then looking at your middle eight then, who are, by all accounts, supposed to be very, very athletic. They'll have to be fitter even than, we'll say, what they were last year. We have plenty of guys out there that can do that. And then you're going to need your three kind of, if you like, your traditional man markers. I think we have them as well. And then obviously the goalkeeping situation. I don't think Conor Gleeson is the type of goalie that will, venture much out past the halfway line. So, is that something that, the Galway management are going to, just say, right, be a traditional goalie? Because by all accounts, he has a very, long kick out, and it'll have to go out past the 40-meter arc. So there's loads of, I suppose, permutations and questions, and but it's a very exciting time, I think, in Gaelic football. And we'll say Saturday's game, I wouldn't think there was any bad blood between Galway and Armagh, but certainly, it'll be a very, very interesting game for me anyways, because more so because of the new rules, not because it's a repeat of the All-Ireland final last July.
Just on it, Seán, obviously Seán talked there about the difficulty of losing an All-Ireland final, but do you think for Galway, when you come up against a team you lost in an All-Ireland, is there a need here to send out a statement here now, and because you want to get one over on a team that obviously bet you in last year's All-Ireland final?
Listen, I'm kind of putting my management head on here. All managers want to kind of, as I say, start from the start, because the league, they want to get early points to make sure the new rules here. The All-Ireland final against Armagh, and I think we all think the same thing. It's one we should have won, we could have won, and we left it behind us. I put it always as the 83 and the 2000. against Kerry. The better team won. We weren't good enough that day, simple as that. We had our chances. We saw some serious performances, but I just suppose I look at the Armagh game in the scenario where we did everything wrong where we could have, like a freeze and all that. But that's the past. The history will always show Armagh won the All-Ireland in 2024, and that's it. For Pádraig, he's got now Cian O'Neill is gone. We have Mickey Graham in now and Dave Morris. Pádraig has to look at this in a scenario where, is it the league that's important or is an All-Ireland title that's important? He's been 2 All-Irelands, we've lost. We don't have a great record. Every time we get to an All-Ireland and lose, the next year we kind of do struggle. And to me, with these new rules, it's a great opportunity to kind of experiment a lot. Like in the scenario, Galway football is in a good place. We're very strong. We've got great footballers there. We've got some great footballers coming in. But to me, the league is a strange one, really. It's all about, like, we've seen the northern teams, they take it very serious. They go in there, they start well. We've heard very little from Armagh, except for the holiday over in Florida. And that's not good, what's happened there. There's talks of splits in the camp, which could understand will happen. You've got the President Jarrett going on television, kind of talk about different things. And this is not taken away from Galway or Armagh, but we've had the opportunity to play games. To my knowledge, they haven't played many channel matches. If they have, so the Euros, and Kieran's just going to run them to the ground, training wise, to go back to the old Armagh fitness and strength. And there's some great players, and we know that. So to me, it's kind of a scenario where I don't expect much out of Armagh. I would expect Galway to win this in the scenario where we're coming from, and the lads with the university over, we've everybody back. We've some great players, especially youth come through. A lot of lads will be saying, probably hope or thought they didn't get a proper opportunity last year. You mentioned them earlier with the university lads, and I hope they do. We're hearing the new guys like of Lachlan, Kane, O'Connor, McGlinchky, Mannion, these guys coming in, and with Matthew Thomas, so exciting, good footballers coming in, and it's good to see that for Galway, but I wouldn't be too, personally, I wouldn't be too worried about the league. I'll be honest with you, because to me, the league is kind of a scenario where, with new rules, we have the opportunity here to try different things out. We saw
would you see survival as the main aim?
Oh yeah, big time. To me, we saw this clear. Like at the end of the day, yes, it'd be great to win a Division 1 title, but Mayo's done it. It's an All-Ireland. We're such a big county. It's an All-Ireland. It's simple as that. Yes, a Division 1 title league. Listen, it's rare. When was the last time? Was it 80 something? Was it Steely Joyce and those? It's rare, but it's an All-Ireland medal this team wants. 81. It's an All-Ireland medal this team wants, and they're not looking at. I can't see Pádraig saying at the start of the year, we want to win a Division 1. It's smarter, but it's the All-Ireland final, and that's what they're going for. And it's a short season now too, you see, as well. You see, not like we're talking September, we're talking June, July. So you got to hit the running quick, and they're already looking at championship, and I know that and how it sits. So that's the way it's going at the moment. But All-Ireland medal, that's what counts.
Yeah, of course, you have that turnaround too with going to New York in the league final. So that's all in the space of back-to-back weeks. So that's a quick turnaround too when you consider that. Seán, you mentioned it at the start, like this 12 versus 11 is going to be huge, because obviously if you bring out your keeper, and we've seen Conor Flaherty has come out in challenge matches for Galway, and you mentioned Conor Gleeson, he has been a traditional goalkeeper for Galway. Like, it's a big decision, and even defensively too, where you play Sean Kelly and a few players like that now, because you're traditionally now, probably with the way the new game is, you're going to have your man markers in the full back line and your runners nearly in the half back line. So there is a few big decisions for Galway management to make with these new rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'd say the way the game was under the old rules, really, the type of player that you needed to play that game. They were all very similar. Whereas with the new rules, if they keep all of them, it's a bit like a rugby team. You'll have different types of players suited for, different positions. But like I said there earlier, I think we have, an abundance of options for, we'll say, your back three, your middle eight, and your three up top. So just for argument's sake, right, if I was picking the team, right, and assuming everybody was fully fit, you'd put Shane Walsh and you'd put Damien Comer inside, and Robert Finnerty probably, right? So that's what you'd be looking at there. I mean, they're all, they would be good ball winners, especially with, if it was transitioned quickly into space. And then we'd say with your middle eight then, I mean, one of the things that Kieran McGeeney said about Galway was that we are physically a big team, right? So Matthew Tierney, Killian McDade, Paul Conroy, Maher, Keane Darcy, these guys, they're big men, right? So, they should be able to compete for, what will probably be, more 50-50 ball in the middle of the park. But I suppose to your original question, the goalie conundrum, right? I'm hoping, right, because I really think, like, I would be very much in favor of most of the rules, right? But the one that I just think doesn't make any sense at all, I think it's a square peg in a round hole. I think the goalie being allowed to come out and play in the opposition half and receive passes in half, that makes no sense to me at all. If you're a goalkeeper, I think, as the name of the position suggests, you keep the goal, and that's it. I prefer to see, the goalie role reverting to a more traditional type goalie. And I suppose the best goalie that ever was Stephen Cluxton. Like, he was very much a traditional goalie. So, for me, I like Conor Gleeson, let play in goal and let's see how it evolves, because the team will evolve as the rounds go on in the league. And if they tweak the rules, then that'll be another change to the whole thing. But I think for Pádraig, his aim should be survival in Division 1, because obviously you don't want to mess around in Division 2, because your Sam Maguire positioning is dependent on where you end up in the league. And also, and I think this is a shame, really, that you start out in a competition, but ultimately you don't want to win it. That makes no sense to me. But I can see the logic in it, because we say last year Derry won the league and they failed miserably in the championship. Equally, well, maybe that's a bit too strong. The year before, then Mayo beat, would say, us in the league final, and Roscommon beat them the following week. But I think for this Galway team, I don't think it would do any harm if they won the league, because we've lost 2 All-Ireland finals in 3 years, and it would be, I suppose, something to hang your hat on, to give you a bit of confidence going into the championship. We'll say the league final is on a Saturday, I think, this year. And then the following weekend we play New York. And then 2 weeks after that, we play Roscommon. So I think, I think there is a small bit of, I suppose, leeway there, assuming we get everybody back from New York in one piece, that you could, if you were lucky enough to get to a league final, to go and try and win it. But I'm looking forward to, just seeing these new rules, and not just Galway, but just every team, just to see what they make of them.
Seán, would you like to see some new players thrown in at the deep end this weekend?
Oh, big time. You see, this is the thing, like, we saw a few players getting kind of, as I say, able to wet their feet a bit last year, but that's why I'm going regarding my conversation and with Seán there. Oh, of course, these lads, like, especially the older players, would love a National League Division 1 title, and they're rare enough, as I say, in Connacht. But to me, I think we're a bigger team than that, in the scenario where it's the All-Ireland, and he has to. This is what I'm saying about the league is Pádraig, and he can do a Mickey Hartnett and put out that team that will start the All-Ireland, and I guarantee you, if he puts them out all the time, but with these new leagues, these new rules, to me, is he needs to give these guys a chance. And it was great seeing them against Kildare in the channel matches. But it's funny when you said it there, sorry, about the 3-man. That's what Pádraig played last year anyway. He had Damien Comer and he had Finnerty up there and Shea him out. So it won't be a huge change for Galway and our style. and the only change is the keepers. And what I'm saying is, you really are giving a free ticket to the keeper to come out because he is your overlap. And I saw it there. The few games I've seen is they're mad to go out now more than ever because the other 6 can't go anywhere. He's the guy that goes out, and he's that bit extra man. But there's only a few great keepers in the country at the moment that can actually execute that, and you'll see a lot of overlaps and stuff like that. But I think like we need to see like the Cillian O'Curry. I love to see him getting a proper good chance there because an excellent talent, like, you know, and you named there for the university. And I just think Pádraig, they need to be thrown in the deep end. And I think this is the National League, and this weekend against Kildare, I love to see them just getting out there, as I say, get a bit of airtime, a bit of hours under them, and at this high rate, especially under the lights in the stadium. It's what an honour. You know what I mean? Good crowd. You know it's going to be a good crowd, good atmosphere there. The All-Ireland champions coming down. It's going to be a good bite there, but we need to see these players, and we've named I think there's a list already gone out there. Pádraig's brought in a few players there, like I know one of them is Seán Kane from Caltra. Like, he's a big boy. He likes catching big high ball in the square. Like, so maybe Pádraig's thinking this guy, you know what I mean, he could be a plan B, like, you know. And is it what do I call it there? We know Shane McGlinchey for Tuam. He's a young lad. He's only 18, like, you know.
He was playing for Jarlath today in the Connacht semi-final.
That's what I mean. He would be a worry for me because he's such a talent, you know, that kind of way. And I like to see him do a good year under the belt with Savo and Ja. But it just shows you the talent of this kid when he's there, and he'll learn a lot from the boys, like, you know. And what do you call there? You had Matthew Thompson, who was all Galway under 20, and that's
Colin
what
Costello as well.
Costello, yeah, Mannion. So you've got great players coming in who, and it's hard when you're coming into a great team who have like, I mean, we're talking Maher and Seán, name them. I won't go near them again. Like, and they've been. How do you drop these guys? You know, and then you've got Paul Conroy, who's got the cure of eternal youth. Like, he's like Benjamin Button. He's getting younger and better as time goes on, and this new rule is just suiting him down to the ground. Like, it's just brilliant. Like, and as your manager, you're saying, do I spare him? Do I push him? And he gets injured, and then do I try the new guys? So Pádraig and Mickey Graham have serious decisions to make regarding the long term. But regarding me, I give them every bit of hour they can, these young lads, because come championship, because you saw yourself, there's no recovery time for injuries. If a guy gets injured, they have to be changed. And maybe when Anthony Verdi was going to say there, but when Verdi got injured that time, we brought on, you might say, it wasn't like for like, that which I didn't like myself, but again, I'm not on the sideline. It was a decision they had to go with. And it'd be great to have players that if you're taking off a nippy corner forward, that you're putting on a nippy corner forward, or if you're putting on a midfielder, you're bringing it, and that be done. So that's what I'd hope for. And Pádraig has a serious bundle of a talent at his disposal at the moment, and it's brilliant to see. And exciting times for Galway. Exciting times for us as supporters, and yourself there doing comedy is just great. I'm really looking forward to this year, because if these guys get a chance, they will make hay.
Yeah, I think a big positive last night too in UL was James McLaughlin looked really sharp. Best game I've seen him play in a long time for the college. Played midfield and won the majority of kickouts that were kicked long. So he's another big man that could come in here across the middle. I know he played wing forward in that challenge game against Kildare, so he could come in there. Cian Hernan's obviously an injury doubt this weekend. Damien and Rob didn't play in the challenge match last weekend against Limerick in Pearse Stadium, where they had the run out last Saturday. Shane came on, so it'll be interesting to see the makeup of the 15. But on that, Seán, like, if Damien and Rob don't play this weekend, considering they didn't play last weekend, that is going to afford someone an opportunity here this weekend.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, look at, I know you've mentioned a fair few of the young players. I remember back to our time in 2001. We'll say Joe Bergen. Now, you know, Joe Bergen appeared on the scene, and like, you know, it does add a freshness to the thing as well. You know, might only be one or two young lads that just change the kind of chemistry of the group, that kind of thing. So if you are down Damien, and if you are down Robert Finney for your inside line, right? Somebody else an opportunity. I'd love to see, but I don't know whether he's ready yet in a physical sense, especially against Armagh. But then, if there's lots of room, it might suit him. Colm Costello from Dunmore, he has the skill level and he has the brains, to play at the highest level, right? But I suppose there's the physicality as well that those questions that are asked of you at intercounty level. Is he ready for that yet? But obviously Pádraig and them are seeing the likes of him, at close quarters. He could be a guy that might get a bit of game time at the weekend. Another fella then that that I suppose we've forgotten about, but he's back again is Finian O'Leary from Spiddale, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
back.
so he was a guy that came on against Kerry 3 years ago, and he went off traveling and is now back. And I don't think he's a guy that you'd play inside, but certainly he's a guy
Well, you need
could do a job.
you need your wing forwards to be so fit now, like with the way the new rules are going to be, like they just suit him down to the ground.
Yeah, well, it would suit him down to the ground. You'd probably put, Matthew, if the boys aren't around at the weekend, Matthew Tierney would be a good fit for inside in there. You could, kick some high ball into him as well. And, would Pádraig be so brave as to put our footballer of the year in and start him in the full one of the three guys? I mean, that was talked about a lot. And like Paul Conroy, ball in hand, and the goal only 15, 20 meters away from him. Like, we talk about him outside the arc, but he's fairly good in there as well. So Cian Hernan there as well. It's a pity now he got injured last night, because by all accounts he's been, pulling up a few trees. And again, like, he's a guy that got injured last year, after he came back from his Erasmus. And I think he might have featured, towards the latter end of the championship if he was fit, but unfortunately didn't. But I think, no matter what happens over the league, as long as we stay in Division 1, I think the most important thing is that, assuming we get to the quarterfinal, and that's not, we were beaten 2 years ago by Mayo in Pearse Stadium in the prelim quarterfinal, but let's assume that we get to a quarterfinal, right? You want all of those guys fit. You want to have as many as you can, and you want people chomping at the bit. So whatever you have to do, from January the 24th to whenever those quarterfinals are on, sometime in June, just manage it. It would be great to see Damien.
Two players. Sorry, there's two guys. Actually, funny we're mentioning it, and absolute stars, Tom O'Cullan and Liam O'Connell. Like, these guys, these new rules go. Like, guys who were bad injuries last year, class acts. Like Tomo, if he gets a run at all, and you just want to see him get a run because he's a class act, underage talent, and Liam O'Connell as well. Mention him, class act.
Yeah, I know. We say Tomo certainly knows where the goals are. He came on against London. Now, I know the game was gone, but he scored 2 goals in the last league match against Kerry last year. Even though we didn't have to win the game, he came on with 2 minutes to go and he buried the ball in the back of the net. So he knows where the goals are, and this could give him a lease of life. And you're right, like Liam O'Connell as well. He's a guy that he got the odd chance, we'll say, last year, but not really. He didn't get a whole pile of time. But again, with these new rules, all of a sudden, these type of players will possibly become more valuable. So again, and I know I'm repeating myself, but that's why I'm looking forward tremendously to the league and these new rules, because you will see, footballers allowed to play football, I think, more so than in the last few years. Because, let's be honest, I think I read someplace where somebody described Gaelic football as the worst spectator sport in the world.
That's Milan, probably. Spillane probably, was it?
Well, no, I don't think it was him, but some games certainly. I mean, the Kerry-Derry quarterfinal last year was, I'd watch every game till the end, but I nearly left and changed the channel at halftime, but I didn't. But still, David Clifford wasn't allowed play because there was 15 around him.
One thing we haven't mentioned here as well, which is kind of strange, and is the person actually who will have the biggest impact on a game, which we don't want to see, is the referee, because they have so much power now bringing the football forward 50 meters, which referee David Goff did at the time against Galway Kildare. It was only 3 or 4 times because there wasn't 3-4 bringing it forward here. So you're going to see a lot of kind of discrepancy regarding, the rule and stuff like that. So even though it's going to be frustrating for both teams and supporters, I think, because the limelight's on them. There's only one person there. There's a huge amount of pressure. And when you can bring a ball 50 meters forward or into if it's, they have the third guy came out, so you're going to bring into the 13. So again, we always think the best game is we don't hear or see the ref, but they have a huge, huge part to these new rules. And it's a lot of pressure. And I kind of feel sorry for them. They can be the villain or they can be the hero now in these games. So it's going to be a strange one. And this under lights too, pressure, vision, it's going to be hard. So who want to be a referee? That's what I say anyway. And
just on that, if dissent comes from the line too, they can move it up. It's not just the players. And
Jesus, Scan will have to be put up with the stand. She's not looking good for our Scan, the poor man.
I think supporters are just going to have to accept mistakes for the first few games.
Yeah, but we don't. That's the problem. We can't, and we don't.
There probably is a lot of supporters too who are going to be wondering what's happening in the terrace, because we actually haven't seen these new roles competitively. They've just been challenge matches too. Seán, just on it, because we were mentioning players, but it definitely feels like there's been a few players in this squad who've maybe been in and out of the team. Like you're looking at Daniel O'Flaherty, Carl Sweeney, a few players like that, even maybe a Patrick Egan to break through or someone like that this year. But it does feel that the players in their mid-20s in this Galway setup, that it's a big year for them. And personally, they'll want this is the year where they can break through.
It is, you see, because
sorry. Oh yeah, Cunard, sorry.
There's 2 Seáns. No, I kind of go in the snare, and I suppose I'm going back to your original question. You see, we mentioned the league, and you see, and this is where it comes down to. I just think Park's a great opportunity to blood a few of these lads. We probably 2 years ago or last year we were saying maybe it's not the time, and what's there. I think now is the time for Pádraig. We know how good these other lads are, the Darcys, the McDades, the Kellys, the Malloys, Tierneys. We know, listen, they're going to make the team every week and they want to play. But I think Pádraig has the opportunity here to blood these guys, and we mentioned them too before, like the Sweeneys, the Costellos, as Seán Oak said, and the Cornelias, and these guys, and the O'Correens. And these are great footballers. And probably the only thing they're missing is a time on the pitch to feel comfortable. And then all of a sudden, because it's such a short season now, all of a sudden the league's over and it's straight into championship. And unless someone gets injured now, and that's the problem. And we saw that what happened to Finnerty. So to me, it's a hard one to call, where you hate throwing a new player out there, because if it doesn't go well, they mightn't get the time again a day, which is kind of a pity as well. And we've seen a few players have left the panel already. So to me, I just think there's a great opportunity for these great players we just mentioned, because we know how good they are. They've done it for underage for Galway. They've done it for their clubs. They've done it regarding, as I say, the opportunity. We didn't have any FBD here, but I thought the FBD wasn't used correctly. I thought when we were there, Shawnee, you say, it was kind of like, I'm not saying the B team because that's disrespectful to any player, they were kind of just put together as the development squad, and that was it. Now, Darcy was on that and a few of them there, but I thought the FBD was a great league where you give the opportunity to 3 or 4 players to play with the senior panel and all that stuff, and you kind of bring them in and challenge matches. So I think we missed a trick there, and we don't have it anymore, and it's a thing that's missed from the game at the moment. And John Prenti will tell you that it's missing from the coffers too, which hurts everybody more. But I just think it's that we have great players, and the problem with them is 10 minutes coming on as a sub or 20 minutes in a challenge match is a different thing. They need National League, under lights for Galway, playing the top teams in Division 1, putting in the minutes, putting in the hours, and make mistakes and learn from the mistakes, because that's what happened with all of us. We were given that opportunity and allow them take it. And it's such a small window of opportunity to make a mistake or to become a hero. And it's hard. And you're going to stand mad because it's all based on results and you need to win games and that's it.
Seán, what type of game are you expecting this Saturday between Galway and Armagh? Is it one you can see Galway getting over the line and starting the league on a high this weekend?
Do you know what? No, normally, Paul, I'd have a fairly, I'd be fairly sure of my opinion, right? Whether it's right or wrong, right? But because the new rules have just, it's kind of like throwing the cat amongst the pigeons. I don't know what's going to happen on Saturday, to be perfectly honest, right? Because it's for all intents and purposes, it's a different game to what the game was last July, a completely different rules. But having said that, I'd expect I'd expect with the new rules that a game of football will, as they say, will break out often. I would expect that the crowd, I think we'll see, I suppose, a lot of scores. And I think, like, obviously Galway are going to want to win the game because, they don't want to be beaten twice in a row by Armagh. Plus, we'll say your first, if you want to stay in Division 1, you have to win your home games, right? And I think our last two league matches are away to Dublin and home to Kerry. So if we're kind of going into those games looking to get points to, possibly stay in Division 1, it's a different scenario if you're looking for points to maybe get to a league final. But so what I'm saying is that the earlier rounds are very, very important, especially, we'll say, the matches that you'd have at home. So I'd expect Galway to put in a huge, effort to win the game. I know there was the publicised matches against Kildare and Limerick there last weekend or during the week. I think it was under lights, but from what I've heard, anyways, the Galway team have played enough matches, whether they're in-house or possibly other challenge matches that we didn't hear about at all, to be reasonably fairly familiar with the rules. So, I think, they look at Paor Joyce. Obviously he was a great footballer, but he was so competitive. So, he's going to send the team out wanting to win. So, I'd expect, because we're at home and because we want, a modicum of revenge for last July, I'd expect us, maybe expect is too strong a word, but, I'd be reasonably confident that, we put up a good show and that we'll win.
Is this one you'd expect us to win too on Saturday, Seán?
Oh God, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think we're in a better position than Armagh. Armagh, who've won the All-Ireland, celebrated too well over in the holidays. So that's still kind of, as I say, the big question mark behind Armagh. There's internal problems there at the moment, which will surface, and it's a sad scene where you're not talking about GA. It's you're talking about other matters, and it's there. But listen, Ciarán McGeeney is a professional always, and he'll have his team coming down to Pearse Stadium well prepped and well understanding what the challenge ahead of them. Listen, I've done them before. McCambridge, Neil, Grimley, Turbot. They're serious footballers, like class acts, and that's it. And they're all Ireland winners now. And we gotta not forget that they're all Ireland winners. Their chest is out, and they feel like they're 7 foot high, and they have no fear coming down to Pearse Stadium. And they'll say we bet Galway on the biggest stage in it, so why wouldn't we beat them in their own backyard? But there is always a bite. We always remember the penalties there a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, and the rumble before the tunnel and Ireland. So there's no love between these two teams. Don't say there is, because there isn't. And there's rivalry there and there's pride there. So I expect a great game of football regarding fight, hunger, players wanting to show Pádraig and the lads that I'm here. Pick me. I want to be here. I want to go to New York. I want to be there for the championship. So it's going to be a festival of football. And I would tell everybody that's possible that isn't going to watch any Cheathrú Rua up in Croke Park, go to Pearse Stadium. And we might be down early. I doubt it though, but it's a great opportunity. And it's going to be a celebration. And the weather, I know it's bad for the next 2 days, but Saturday's supposed to be good weather. It'll be still windy anyway in Pearse Stadium. It's always windy, even if it's a nice day. But I expect Galway to win. I can see Galway win this by 4 or 5 points because but then again, I always see the likes of Rian O'Neill. He loves pulling on a long ranger, and he's like our Paul Conroy. He's any chance he'll get a sniff of one over the bar, he'll be putting up 2-pointers, and that's where it goes. But I just hope the rules show why they were done, to make our game the best game in the world again. What it was. A game of enjoyable, that we're not saying boring, go to sleep kind of style football, that we see the skill of these great athletes and these people we're proud of. And that's what I want to hope. And Seán is 100% correct. There's going to be tweaks. There always has to be tweaks, but it's going the right direction. And you know what I mean? Fair play to the boys and the work they put in, because it's going the right direction. And it's the whole idea of these new rules is to show off the talent. And that's what we want to see, not the talent of negativity, defensive, hand passing, which, mother of God, any person can do. It's kick passing, it's scores, and contact sport, which it is. It's still a contact sport, and I want to see a bit more of it.
Before we finish, lads, it's obviously a great occasion, and it's this weekend coming up on Saturday, and something we've probably all been crying out for as Galway supporters. And fair play to the county board for all the work they have done to get the lights into Pearse Stadium, because there is something about a Saturday night game under lights. You can create that bit of buzz, and it's obviously the last time there was lights in Pearse Stadium was years and years ago for that Aussie Rules game, and we haven't seen lights there since. But it's going to be an occasion under lights for players and supporters to relish this weekend.
Yeah, I think the Saturday, or well, sorry, the nighttime atmosphere, there's something special about it. I was at the game, the one you mentioned there, just adds to the whole occasion. I think the planning permission for Pearse Stadium allows 8 matches per year under lights. So this is one of them. So there's only 7 left after that. I think they're allowed to train there a few times under lights as well. But look, it's a new era for Galway GA, and fair play to Paul Bellew and whoever else is involved in getting that done. I think Pat Carney had a hand somewhere there as well. I think he's involved in the Pearse Stadium as well. So look at I don't know, like, hopefully the weather will be fine. I think Seán said it would be, and people, that we got a good crowd there, and that we support, like, we can be very good supporters, Galway, and I think Saturday night is an opportunity to show that.
Yeah, I go with Seán there. Listen, like, we've gone up to McHale Park. It was such a huge thing when they put the lights up in McHale Park, a great atmosphere. When you get the northern boys coming down, girls, they stay overnight. It brings a kind of a festive atmosphere. Again, maybe it's a bit harder on the younger youths, their younger supporters. They do like their Sunday mornings, and the parents. Maybe it's a bit more opportunity for our older personalities to go out, and a bit like the rugby we see in Connacht and all that stuff. So it's great for the city. It's great for Salthill. It's great for the players, because I know it's a different game under lights. The kind of way it's just all the lights are down. It's like a condrel. It's like the Coliseum. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be a celebration, and like Seán Oakes used to be up on planning permissions. Jeez, I'm impressed by that, Seán. Jeez, will I get you know someone in the council anyway? But it's a great thing to know that we have this, because we've been to all around the country, all the big counties, and I keep going back. Galway's a big county. Of Kerry, Cork, and all these boys. Dublin can have it, like in Mayo in the north. We should have it. And the boys you mentioned, Seánie, hats off. This just doesn't happen overnight. They've been working on this for years, and they've done a great job. And it's here to stay. And you know what I mean? Please God, we'll get way more games. And we're looking, not only that, but the club scene will see it, and the hurlers will see it, and like that. It's just a great day. And even Connacht Rugby, they're going up to Mayo for a holiday, so you never know, they might come down to Pearse Stadium again. So I just think it's pushing Pearse Stadium forward to the next level, and I just think it's a great what they've achieved is brilliant, and hats off and bullabus, so brilliant.
Yeah, before this weekend, we were the only Division 1 county without lights. All the other 7 teams had lights, so it's been badly needed. And as we say, fair play to the county board and everyone for getting the lights in to Pearse Stadium. And the best of luck to the footballers as well who start their league campaign this weekend. But that is all we do have time for on today's show. Thanks a million to Seán and Seán O'Donnell for coming on this week's podcast.
We're Margaret.
Thanks to Paul.